My watch just alerted me that we are now live. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 45 of Michigan Brews.
Thank God for the
starring
watch.
special guest Brandon. Yeah. If it wasn't for my watch, how would I ever know? No guest this week. I guess we can start by talking about what we have going on in the next couple weeks, since I teased that on my own personal post. Facebook does not allow us to schedule shows more than 1 week in advance. So we do have shows lined up. They're scheduled on YouTube and Twitch. They're not on Facebook yet. Next week's will be after tonight. And then the week after will be after next week's show. So next week, we are talking to the Michigan Mead Coalition. They are possibly the biggest mead homebrew club in Michigan. In any case, there are a very large Michigan-wide mead club. So we'll get to talk to a few of their members. And then the week after that, Jason, I believe we're talking to some of the committee from the Michigan Homebrew Festival. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. Not exactly sure who's going to be joining us yet, but most likely Kevin Penn, probably Lee McBain, and Jeff Burkhart from the Michigan Homebrew Festival committee. Hoping that I can get all of them. The other two would be Dan Frechette and Nancy Terry.
Cool.
Really looking forward to chatting with them because Homebrew Fest is back on this year, and super fucking excited for that.
We'll talk about that more in a little bit too, for sure. And thanks to Drew for always being our one Twitch viewer,
our Twitch cheerleader.
Again, I push watching on Twitch if you're on mobile, because then you can just throw the your phone in your pocket and move on and do other stuff. Unless you're a YouTube premium subscriber, in which case you can do picture-in-picture already. So good on you.
Well, and I mean, eventually, like you said, I think we said on the last few shows, someday we're going to have podcasts, actual audio files that we'll put out for this stuff. And then we have one more show, though, right? After that, we have one more guest in July. We just have to nail down the specific date.
Yeah, we don't have a date.
What was her name? I'm going to mess it up. I'm trying to look for it real quick.
He's an all grain brewer over from, I believe, Fenton.
Oh, right. Okay.
And he has a gluten-free homebrew supply shop over there. So we'll plug that sometime as soon as we have all that lined up.
Hell yeah!
So that'll be a cool show. We've never done anything gluten-free on the show before. I've never personally done anything gluten-free. The only person that I know that's done anything 100% gluten-free is, I think, Drew Doster, when he did his sorghum and whatever else it was, some sort of African lager. He'll have to pop it into the chat as to what exactly it was called. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah. Speaking of drinks, what's everybody got in their glass? Is it all the same thing?
I think so. Jordan, what do we have in our glass?
It is.
Cider. It's a cider. The cider I brewed back. Would have been, when did we do a pickup from Husted last? September or something like that. Anyways, yeah, just pretty straight ahead. I want to say I used 1118 on this. Didn't do anything to it. I don't even think I back sweetened it. I'm pretty sure I took it off the yeast and put it in a keg, and it's just been sitting in my basement for however long, 6 months, 8 months, and I tapped it.
Sweet.
No, it's good. I think it is a little sweet. A little tart.
I think the show tonight pretty much is going to be cracking open some of my beer and the cider from Jordan, and talking about summer stuff, and everybody ripping on Jordan and I's hard work. So yeah, it's funny with this cider. Jason and I cracked it open, but before he said it, I smelled it too. But I got a whiff of something piney or hoppy or something, and as I'm smelling it now, what I think it is it's the smell of like if you were to cut open an apple and just like squeeze a little bit and smell it, like it almost has that like a pulpy like aroma to it or something.
Yeah.
It's
I
very
can see that.
very fresh, like really really fresh. Yeah. Are you entering this in a glint cap?
I hadn't thought about it. I mean, this has only been I had only had this on tap for like a week, so I haven't really had a chance to sit down and really like drink on it and kind of assess how good it is.
So yeah, you definitely should. I think I'm going to be running up to Vandermill at some point in time to drop off a Perry of mine. So I can definitely run this up for you if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, if we're not tasting anything that's off on it, then yeah.
No, not at all. I think this is the best cider I've ever had from you, honestly.
Oh,
check it out. Google Glint Cap. I think registration's open until January or July, 1st of July, 2nd of July, something like that.
Yeah, second.
So you can second. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah, sure. I mean, why not? You know, it'll be professional feedback regardless of, you know, something that I've made.
Yeah, I think we brew so few ciders and Perrys and stuff like that feedback is especially important on, those sort of styles. And David, of course, says Mead and cider is gluten free. So I called myself out. Yeah. So we've of course, I guess, done gluten free brewing, just not beer specifically.
Yeah.
So
Oh, sorry. Some of the
I was just going to specifically not. Beer. Some of the yeast is not.
The media that they use, like I think Imperial is usually that's usually gluten free, and some of the yeast media does use glutinous material to be propped up, like when the manufacturers are making it. So I know some of the like cider makers, that's like one of the things they look for if they're a gluten free brewer. But that's something I've at least seen.
They do have there's one bag of yeast that they have down at the homebrew shop that specifically says gluten-free on it. And I can't remember what it is, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. And I think that is like one of their like cider yeasts or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure it's probably not enough, but like, you know, since I don't have like a massive gluten intolerance issue, I can't speak to that exactly. But, you know.
Have you ever thought about that? Like, what happens if, you know, sometime in the next couple of years you like develop like a gluten intolerance or something like that? Like, I don't know if I would have it in me to like change it up and just brew like, you know, wines or something like that. Like I think Mitch over at Speciation like had that happen, right? And I think they're doing a lot more wild wine now than beer because of it. But man, I don't know if my heart could take it.
I don't want that to ever be.
I see people, you know, putting up their gear on Craigslist and Facebook and stuff like that occasionally for, you know, similar reasons, and it's always like fingers crossed, you know.
Yeah, that's right. I'm really curious to talk to this guy. You know, he's got a specifically targeting a gluten-free homebrew store. That's really cool. I think we're working out some details to try to maybe even get some of his stuff shipped over before the show, which would be super, super cool.
He wants to give us some of his beer, so
yeah.
I don't know how we'll get it. We'll get it one way or another.
I've had some. I think it was Shorts did like a quinoa sorghum beer, but it was tap room only, and it was pretty good. And David just calling out that their Imperial yeast offers house flagship and seltzer cider gluten-free options. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna spend the show talking about, you know, how shitty like my beer is or something, and David's gonna spend the show like shitting on us. So that's kind of
what he does.
Yeah.
Well, I've had like one or two of Omission's beers that were decent from my memory, but it's been quite a few years since I've had them. I just like randomly saw them, was like, oh, what's that? Let me get some of that. And I think I didn't even realize it was gluten free until like I got it home. It was like, oh, all right, whatever, we'll try that out.
their Brainless series. Wasn't Brainless gluten free? Let me look it up real quick.
Oh, maybe I
Not
might have a
ringing a
bottle
bell.
of that still.
What's that, Jordan?
I said I might have a bottle of that still. Like, what was it, Brainless on cherries or something?
They had a bunch of them. I don't know if I'm mixing it up. I know Epic had a gluten-free beer. I feel like maybe it was a specific variety of Brainless, because they do a bunch of different Brainless.
Yeah.
But there's Brainless on peaches, Brainless on cherries. But yeah, I thought it's not looking like it. Anyway, Epic has some omission, like Brandon called out. That's cool. There's some different ones out there.
I've seen gluten.
You guys ever been
before.
to? I think Jordan has, right?
What's that?
Been to Epic?
Oh, I have not.
No. Where is Epic
Oh.
located?
It's in Denver, right?
I think so. That sounds right. But
No, I was. Wait.
yes,
No,
Salt
I
Lake
gotta
City,
think. Oh, Salt Lake City.
where?
Okay.
Utah.
What? Is there not another? Is there an Epic in? There must be an Epic in Colorado too, though, right? Because I've been to an Epic there.
They definitely exist in Denver, Colorado, but I don't know if they have other locations.
No, Brian, I went to Oscar Blues when I was out there,
Oh,
just outside of Denver.
I'd say Utah and Colorado, but it looks like
Now
they're.
I gotta look this up.
It looks
oh
like
yeah, yeah.
they're
3001
headquarters in
Walnut Street, Denver.
Salt Lake City.
Okay, well that I didn't know. I thought they were actually based out of Colorado, so I learned something new today. But I've been to Epic in Denver, and I don't remember much about what any of the beer tasted like because I was sick as hell. Sheena and I we're going to like one of her surgeries, and we stopped at like this awesome cidery and Epic Brewing. It's just a tap room, so Shayna, okay. And I was just like a miserable mess trying to like suffer my way through like tasting this beer, and like it should have been such a cool experience. I think we went to Great Divide as well, which is just like a crazy. It's like standing room only, like for room for 10 people in there. But I don't know. It was cool. I would really like to go back when I can actually taste things. The vibe in there was very close to kind of like what Ferndale is now. Just like really nice people, like incredibly nice people. Like just everybody was really happy to work there. And I don't know whether it was like a facade or anything like that, but
Did they have hot fries?
We kind of they didn't have hot fries, so maybe not as cool as Ferndale used to be.
Well, neither does Ferndale.
I was just gonna say,
Jason has some words. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited. I'm hoping that we can get Ferndale. I think Brian's talking to them about coming on and doing an episode. I was just really, really bummed out. I was there last week, and they changed their menu since the last time Brian and I was there. I was so looking forward to go out and eating the hot fries. It's like talking about it for weeks, and then to get there and not only no hot fries, but we got there like right before the kitchen closed, so we didn't get to eat anything. Because they had a pretty killer looking mushroom quesadilla, but couldn't eat anything. But it was a friend of ours. We went with Dave and Joanne Jones. It was Joanne Jones's 200th Tagabrew tag was Ferndale.
Awesome.
It was really cool.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh man,
No kidding.
I think I'm crushing this cider, Jordan. It is very crushable.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Right, right, even so.
100%.
Good. I'm
So
glad.
in case some of you guys missed the last minute post, was it last Friday? No, not this past Friday, but a week ago Friday. I think. Anyway, Brian and I got the opportunity to go on Better on Draft and hang out with those guys for an evening. And it was kind of the last minute. They reached out earlier in the day, but we're not the greatest at checking Michigan Brew's email because nobody uses it. And so we found out I think it was like an hour before the show.
Yeah, 50 minutes, yeah.
And then it was like, are we going to do it? Yeah, we're going to do it. and then and of course they don't like pre-post their shows because they have a kind of a centralized web page where they host everything through, and so I think 2 minutes before we went on air, I threw a post up to be like, hey, come check it out. So I don't know if anybody got to see that. You can check it out on YouTube and Facebook. There's gluten-free
there he is.
comments.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Woo!
It's awesome. Can't wait to talk to you and have you on the show.
Yeah, I don't know if you were
and learn
listening
what
to
you're
us
doing.
when we were talking about you a minute ago, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Where was I? Oh, so I had a good time on Better on Draft. It was fun chatting with those guys. We are definitely different shows. That's for sure. Our focus is more on the home brewing community or the brewing community in Michigan specifically, whether that be actually distilling, venting, home brewing, professional brewing. That's kind of where our passion lies, and they're really more about like this beer in general and kind of beer across the country and trying specific beers or beer trends, things like that.
All about the fun side.
That's right.
They really keep up on the news, and their news segments are actually pretty informative, especially about like local Michigan legislation and stuff like that.
Yep.
They do a good job about keeping up on it. So I've learned quite a bit about what's going on in Michigan with regards to like beer law and stuff like that. Listening to their show, so definitely go check them out and go listen to our episode because I thought it was quite good, and I beat Jason at trivia. So
He did.
by bullshit, pretty much.
Stupid shit. Actually, if David would have been watching, maybe like they were asking me beer comic book questions. Like, come on.
Yeah, I would have failed that. Yeah.
And then they lob Brian, some like beer science shit. I'm like, come on.
Oh yeah.
Ask the science guy science question.
Rigged.
Right.
Rigged.
And I get beer comic book questions. So but anyway, it was funny that they kind of joked around about us stealing their idea, and I wanted to give them some more shit for that. But we are totally separate. I think we're going to try to hook up with them in a few months and have them actually come over to our show and kind of talk a little bit more about what we're doing, what they're doing. So yeah, check it out. Better on Draft. I think the link is still up on our Facebook page. And then, you get to see Brian and I hang out for an hour with those guys.
I watched you guys over the weekend. I didn't catch you live because it was even a little short notice for me.
Yeah. I was having dinner. I didn't I came back and I had like 70, 80 some odd text messages on my phone. I'm like, what is going on?
Michigan
They
Beers
never answer.
Emergency.
We're like, Jordan, are you coming? Jordan, you there? No.
No.
We're going without him.
I mentioned it like on their show, and I think Jason probably agrees. Like I said that, and I tell other people, it's like I know a lot about beer, but I don't know a lot about beers, like breweries and like special releases that they have, and like what's popular from where, and like what's super hype and what's worth like $200 on secondary market and stuff like that. Like I know how to make everything except gluten-free beer. But
We'll get to that.
But I don't know a lot about the other stuff. So it was cool. Like they had a lot of homebrewing related questions for us that we were able to answer, and I think some of our answers maybe surprised them, or our own personal thoughts at least. And then it'll be cool to kind of flip it and reverse it.
There's a song quote there, isn't there?
Yes, definitely.
It's
that's what I was thinking of too.
Yeah, I believe it's a Korn song.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Something.
maybe Limp Bizkit. What are we opening next?
Good question.
I chug this shit. Cider is fucking delicious. So
I don't have any authority here, but the Czech pills sounded like a good option. I think I saw one of those when I was looking there.
Let's try it.
yeah,
I'm gonna walk away real quick.
No, you're not allowed. Get back here, Brandon. Where's my bottle opener? There it is.
So I don't want to talk about this beer while Brandon's away, since he'll miss all the
Oh, he's right there.
nitty gritty details that we love.
That's when we talk about Brandon. Oh, hi, Brandon.
Hey, I'm wearing shorts at least.
We noticed.
So this is my first Czech Pils. It's a Czech premium pill, so one of the slightly higher ABV ones. I think this is around 5.2%.
Well carbonated. Pop right on.
It's carbonated enough, at least.
Beautiful.
Smells
Incorrect
delicious.
glass, I'm sorry.
5 ounces of sauce hops for the entire thing, actually, which is, it kind of surprised me when I was looking at other recipes and trying to put this recipe together. I've never really used Saz before, and so I didn't really realize how low it was, like on the alpha acids. I think it's only something like 3%, maybe 4, something like that.
I can smell the yeast character.
Thank you for the streaming banner.
What yeast did you use?
It
smells
so this was fermented using Urkel, Imperial Urkel. Yeah,
I should have
figured,
guessed.
Pilsner Urkel, I might as well use Urkel yeast. So. It's fermented traditional lager temp. I think it was around 52 degrees. Something I read about and I decided to try. I feel there's this quote going around, and I don't know whether it's true or not. But so you guys probably know who Annie Johnson is. At one point in time, I think she won like one of the biggest like Pilsner Urquell like clone competitions. She took like a Homebrewer of the Year at NHC some odd years ago. Really talented brewer, and this is kind of like her like beer style. And there's this quote saying that she recommends, or she thinks that this particular style of beer absolutely 100% needs to be mashed at around like the 4.8 pH, maybe even a little bit lower. So I went at so I mashed this at 4.8 pH, which is quite a few points lower than what I normally go to. I'm never lower than 5.2 usually, and I don't really know what that's supposed to accomplish. I need to read up on that more. I didn't put in enough time between the time I decided that I wanted to brew this and the time that I actually brewed it, aside from what I already knew about the style. So. But I think it turned out okay, and I don't think the pH really affected anything negatively. I don't know what it improved or didn't do, but
I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. You can see damn near right through it. You can see
It's beautiful.
the letters on the glass behind it. It's quite cleared up really nicely. Good color.
If anybody. So this beer I have in a keg with one of the clear beer draft systems. It's a top draw, dip tube basically for a keg. I have 2 kegs with those in it, and I usually reserve those for the beers that I want to have clear. Like I usually don't use them for my New Englands, but I'll throw like a cider in them, or like my lagers or something like that. And I think with a little bit of finings. It works pretty well. This one did use gelatin. I know you guys aren't. Excuse me. Yeah, I know you guys are okay with that.
Oh no!
I'm ingesting.
David, if you yeah.
I mean, you cut out half our homebrew club. So be warned, if anybody, when we get together next week to drink beer, don't drink any. Check.
I've only ever used gluten twice and had very varied results.
You mean gelatin?
God.
Throw the gluten in.
Oh. Gelatin. Yes. Twice. That's it. And first time I did it didn't work. I don't know if I did something completely wrong or what, but just beer stayed hazy.
I think there's only so much that you can do sometimes. Was it an IPA that you tried to do it with?
I can't recall. This was like 5 years ago, man. I can't recall what I had for breakfast yesterday. So that's like
Pixie Sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a fun experiment. I think I know. I actually bought some Pilsner Urquell to try side by side with this, and um, Pilsner Urquell is more clear than this is. Even like I know it's like quite clear, but it's not. It's Pilsner Urquell is even more like polished than this. And I feel like it had just a bit more of a clean, crisp like bite to it, and not so much yeast character like Brandon kind of picks out a little bit. Like I wouldn't say that there's like a lot of yeast character, but again, I think it's definitely noticeable.
I mean, I think it's appropriate to have a little bit of diacetyl in a Czech Pils, and like that's kind of what it reminds me of. Like, but it's not dominant like you've made like a nasty diacetyl. It's a good amount.
Okay.
It's just slightly noticeable. Yeah, it's not.
But it's supposed to be there in a Czech Pils. So like,
I don't even equate it to like that diacetyl flavor in my head. I just think of it as that Pilsner, like that in that right amount. You hit that right amount. It's what Pilsners are supposed to taste like. And
that's kind of why I'm so on the fence about like the like pseudo Pilsners. I tried to make a Maybach with Oslo last year, and I thought it was like fine. Like it was super fine. It was good. It was a good drinkable beer. It didn't have that lager character like you were describing, Jason, but it was clean, almost too clean, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I turned that into, no, it was 2019, and I turned that into the Michigan Homebrew Festival to get feedback on it. And I think it scored like mid-low 30s, like 34 or something like that. And I got to remember what the feedback was, but basically it was that it was missing character. It was missing like life. Like it was too plain. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry if does it feel like I'm to anybody else in chat, you know, does it feel like I'm lagging at all or anything like that? I just want to make sure that
maybe it could just be me. Like I didn't want to interrupt you as you were saying, but like
no, it's fine.
It's probably just me. My internet's been fucking wonky lately.
You gotta get that 1 gig out there or something.
No joke.
AT&T fiber.
It's supposed to be running 500 down and like 120 up or something like that, but we'll see.
Man. Charter's been telling me for years that you're going to get 200 megabits per second, but my neighborhood is still 100. Like for years, you're going to be upgraded to 200 megabits per second. Nope, it's not happened yet.
Yeah.
So
David says, yeah, diacetyl's a dirty word in many beer styles, and there are even surprisingly like I think like in Russian imperial stouts. Some people prefer to have a little bit of diacetyl in there just because it adds one more layer of depth. You know, you have the bitterness, you have the dark malts, you have the maybe potentially slightly high, you know, final gravity and sugar content, maybe a little diacetyl, and then you age that for, you know, however long, 3 months plus, and it just sort of becomes this delicious like concoction of all these like crazy flavors and becomes beautiful.
I get it. I can see where it complements in an imperial stout or something that's thick and heavy, you know, where that buttery richness can kind of enhance it or, you know, add to it. I just said the same fucking thing twice, 2 different ways. Okay. But yeah, I mean, and so there are styles that it works, you know, and in Pilsners, I think it should be present, but not, you know, super noticeable. And, but it's funny, you know, I've talked to, you know, he mentions, you know, British and other European styles. It's even here, like in Michigan, you know, we've been to breweries that it's like all of their beer has some kind of diacetyl character, and you talk to them, or you know, just find out if that's something that they're going for, or if it's something that they're dealing with, and they're like, you know, if we changed it, if we cleaned it up, if we took it out, our locals wouldn't drink it. You know, like that's what they're, you know, the flavor that they've gotten used to. You know, so it is an off flavor, but it's not a. It depends on the beer and if it's a flaw. No, it's not a flaw in every area.
This is delicious. I love this. Yeah.
Thank you,
It's
sir.
fine.
I appreciate it. I'm
Don't
gonna.
get too
I'll
big
probably
of
throw it
that.
into. I'm gonna throw it into the state fair. I think I'll save some bottles and see how it does up there.
So I think we have to drop off to the state fair like right after they announce nationals.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to see what nationals gives us back before I figure out when I'm dropping at the state fair.
That's the 19th, right?
29th.
No, I'm sorry, nationals.
Yeah, nationals. Is it?
Oh.
I think it's the 29th. Hold on.
Oh, I thought it was way sooner. 29th is a Tuesday.
Oh, sweet. We even have more time. Yeah, June 17th and 19th. Okay, I was wrong.
Okay, good.
So we have to like drop off to State Fair in early July, and so we get mid-June. We get our results back. We should have our results back before we have to drop off for State Fair. That's all.
And
for
if
those
you get
of
a
you
medal,
that are
you
entering
don't even
both
need your
competitions,
results.
right? Yeah. If you get a national medal, you just retire. You're done.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One day, someone on Collab or Keepers. Well, people in Collab have. Nobody in Keepers has brought home a national medal yet. So, I think somebody in Keepers has or Collab has, right? Maybe not.
I don't know.
No, it's somebody that you were talking to out at the Michigan Homebrew Festival. It wasn't Collab, Jason. So yeah,
Was it?
No, there's a guy from the East Side. Yeah, my inspiration, and I forget his name, but he won in 2019. He won a gold medal for Old Ale with a.
There's a guy from
four-year-old
KP that's taken one or two, isn't there?
yeah. Oh yeah, we definitely have some talented brewers over here on the
Oh,
the
for
west
sure.
side. But,
So, Greg asked, I think it's Greg. Don't tell me I got your name wrong. Brian. God damn it. Brian from Gluten Free Brew Spy says, "Are we doing the Catalytic Warm Mixer?" And we're not, as far as I know. It's hard to swing because we are all West Side, and I mean, we're friends with all those guys out there. In fact, I just saw our good friend Nikki just brewed her the winning beer from the last Catalina Wort Mixer, right? I think they brewed a brown at Cadillac Straits a few weeks ago. But we don't get to participate in that one as much at all. Really, David might have done it. No, you guys, David and you guys did Goshen, right?
yeah, we went down to Goshen, and we talked about doing the Catalina Wort Mixer. I think that it just didn't work out in 2019. So 2022, we'll definitely try to like get that on the agenda because we definitely want to be more part of like everything that's going on in Michigan. Yeah, it just so happens that the majority of the stuff happens over on the east side of the state and stuff.
Yep.
So yeah,
When we go to Homebrew Festival, there's like 16 clubs from the west side and then 2 clubs from the east side.
Yep.
Well, now 3, I think, but
us Primetime and who?
east side, west side. Shut up. It's the Mead segment of Primetime. It is. Oh, come on.
They have their own like subgroup.
Yeah.
It's not the Mead Mamas, is it, or something?
No, that Mead Marmot's part of Craft.
Okay.
Oh, no momento.
Thanks, Jason. Or
It's been a day,
David. God damn it.
It's been more of a day for Jordan.
Oh,
Can't even get names right.
I just can't anymore today. Oh my god. I need to drink more.
Mosquitoes.
The Mosquitoes. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yep. Fair enough. So anyway, where the fuck were we going?
I want to talk about you mentioned George. Okay, well, we're all having that day. I know. No, Jason, you mentioned. Fuck, what did you mention? What was I going to talk about?
Beer.
I know. Oh my
Just
god, I'm totally lost.
derailed everything.
State Fair Nationals.
All right.
Oh, you know what it was? It was you'd mentioned that we have like our particular like tastes, like kind of like a regional taste sort of thing. What were you talking about when you said that? What was that in context to?
I've talked to brewers before that if,
Minerally water.
they have that minerally water, diacetyl,
That's what it was.
flavors that are just part of their brand.
I think that happens a lot, at least here in Southwest Michigan and maybe over in the Southeast too. I feel like just in Michigan in general, really spoiled with our beer, but we also have a very particular taste because of what we've been drinking sort of our entire lives. So like, as an example, like when Fat Tire came to Michigan, like it was a super big deal. Everybody went out and got some Fat Tire, and not a single person that I talked to was really like, yo, this totally lives up to, all of the hype. Like, this is such a great beer. Like, it was like, well, I'm glad I just bought a 6-pack of this and, it was fine. And I'm going to go back to drinking my Two Hearted or my Bell's Amber or, whatever. Like, and it's not that it's not a good beer. It's just that maybe it's not what we like around here. And the same thing is I'm kind of seeing happening with New England IPAs a little bit. Like they were really, really popular over on the east side of the country, years and years ago. And they started coming over here. And this sort of game of telephone happened where these brewers started hearing about these beers, not necessarily being able to taste them because sometimes they're hard to acquire. Instead, trying to brew something of their own based on what they read online. That trend moves across the United States. And all of a sudden we have like all these regionally explicit styles of the same beer. We like our New England's maybe just a little more sweet here, a little less bitter, but still like bitterly like balanced. Like over on the east side, I feel like all the original New Englands that I've had have been not nearly as hazy as what we have here, and very much more like just focused on getting the hop flavor out, not focused on the haze. Just really actually having that be the true byproduct that it's supposed to be. And that really shows through. So yeah, I don't know. And then, there was stuff happening over on the west side of the country. I think that's where like the Brute IPA started, quite a few years ago. And that sort of trended eastward a little bit. Maybe I don't know. That's kind of where my headcanon's at for it. But
yes, Swiminipa.
Yeah, I just think that I don't know. I think that the beer that we have around here is very good, I guess, in at the end of the day. And a lot of the beer that we get shipped to us from around the country is probably good as well. It's just not what we have acquired or have acclimated our taste buds to. So
absolutely. I will say, like, that being said, when I was out in Colorado, and Brian, you may have came across the same thing. Like, my wife and I went to a lot of these, like, as you said, like standing room only breweries. Like, I remember we went to one. It was like you had to walk through somebody's backyard to get to this little like shack where they brewed. And I had some phenomenal beers out there. But yeah, there is like a different profile to them. Like they all had like a similar taste out there as opposed to like out here. So
inferior.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, maybe we're just used to our water.
Well, I mean, it's nothing new. I mean, and if you go back to Germany or Eastern Europe, I mean, there's whole varieties of beer that are just named after the region they came from. Whether
England versus Germany,
right? I mean, and then it's all based on the water profile, the hardness, the salinity, all of that shit. It's just right now Michigan gets to say that not only Michigan, But the Kalamazoo area of Michigan gets to boast the best beer in the country. I think again for the 4th year in a row.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, I say it. I've said it on the show multiple times. As soon as I move, as soon as I don't have this beautiful well that I'm sitting on, my brewing
fucked.
just went to shit. It just went to shit. Yeah. So it's a good question.
Love that
Yeah, that's a
question.
great question.
That is a great question. Should a brewer go with local water profile? And I think the resounding answer should be no.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true, but I'll let you answer first.
I would say you really got to look at your water. Water is such a, it's the majority of what beer is made out of. And, we've had, so there is one thing about regional flavor, and because that's what I feel like I have. I've got like an artesian well. I'm sitting on great water. We've tested it out. It's beautiful. It makes good beer. But we've also had beer from people, in the city that, it comes out very chlorinated or, very chemically. And so you really got to, you got to be cognizant of where you're at and what your water profile is. If you're in the city, if you're on a municipal water supply, if you're in
Flint, not Flint water,
by all means. But I mean,
leave the let out.
We had a member donate a keg to Homebrew Fest a couple of years ago, and it was like we tapped it, and everybody in like 5 feet of the keg could smell pool water. It was like chlorine, and he had brewed like the day that they flushed the system or some shit, and that stuff's supposed to off gas. Like I don't even know how. There must have been so much in there.
I've had that beer before too, and that was a delicious beer.
He brewed it again the next year, and it was fine. And it is. It's delicious beer. But so I would say no. Don't just be like, oh, local water profile. Be careful because a lot of Michigan is got municipal water, and definitely too soon, David. But if you've got an area, you're out in the country, or you've got an area, place that you can get water, that's well water. I think Michigan has great water. I don't know if that's how Bell's started, and Larry's just building a profile based on, what he hit years ago. I'm probably not, but go ahead, Brian. You had an opposing view. I don't think you should. I think you should be careful.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, yeah. And I think that you went on a tour of Bell's with us too. I believe that Bell's does use city water. They just treat it. And they do adjust it, but they don't use RO or anything like that. Some places do. I think Sierra Nevada might use RO water. I think they have like a huge RO system, or Lagunitas or somebody like that. But so when I first started brewing, I was very adamant because I read one comment on like Homebrew Talk somewhere when I first started learning how to brew that convinced me that like you need to use like what water you have available to you, because then it'll become like your beer. It'll be your flavor, and blah 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 blah. And since then, I've stopped using city water, and I use RO, which is odd for me having this opinion, but I think that the way that we as brewers make our beer and our systems and our the way that we treat our yeast and the way that we do our fermentations, the way that we package our beer adds so much other character to our beer that that the water isn't just going to be the defining factor. There's so much more to it. So I think that if you have a particular way that you want to brew, and you want to use RO water, and you want to do like salt additions and stuff like that, go for it. And it's still going to be your beer, and it's still going to taste like your beer. That's my stance.
I think science has come in and wrecked. The beauty of having that unique regional flavor, of having that Goza or having Pilsner or having those specific styles of beer, because that was the water that they got. One, those historically specific styles and flavors of beer were done long before chemical treatment was in place, and long before there was societies and cities and municipalities that were doing that with water. So I think and today, like I said, it's kind of out-scienced it, right? Now we have the ability to decide that we're going to brew a Pilsner and build a Pilsner water profile, matching Pilsen's water profile.
Yeah.
So science is kind of fucked it.
My tap water is hard as fuck, is what I call that.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Well, I guess since I have a softener that works now, it's now, sodium-y as fuck comparatively. But
same
which
here.
isn't better. So, yeah.
But I just think that I think the water regional unique flavors brought on by water, I think that ship sailed. Like we're too scientific to do that. That said, if anybody in my homebrew club wants to brew really good beer, you're welcome to come get some out of my house because it's fucking awesome.
I might do that.
Your beer is awesome.
Yeah. Brandon, I'm out of curiosity. Did you get the hardness tested on your water? Do you know what your number is?
I mean, so I changed my water softener out myself, which was a disaster. But
I did too, just like 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah. Same here. About 3 weeks ago. It was a disaster because of the softener. So, and a manufacturing defect, and I returned it and got a new one, and it had the same manufacturing defect. So, but I was able to fix the second one. It wasn't as bad on that one. So, anyways, A.O. Smith, F you.
Not a sponsor.
Yeah, not a sponsor.
But anyway, yeah. So hardness, I just use like the litmus type strips.
That's what I did too. I was just curious, like what your
hard as it can go on there is what it was. So,
oh, okay, yeah. I was gonna say mine was close. Mine was 5 out of like 27. Like 1 is like as far down as you can go. So
now my cold water is about as soft as it can go, but my hot water is about a little higher than that, just because of I assume it's because of all the residual crap in my hot water heater.
Yeah. It's taken me like 3-4 cycles of my water softener to get rid of all the shit in my hot water tank.
I have a TDS meter, David. I just don't use it much anymore because basically it was just like too much. But yes, I should use it.
Just said yes.
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 I need another beer.
I was just gonna say that.
What's next? What am I grabbing?
Hey, what are these abbreviations? What's LC? What's SH?
I don't want to do LC right now.
Yeah, we can save that for last if we get to it. Open up a PA. That's a single hop pale ale.
All right,
I don't have
next.
a PA,
I don't have a PA, Brian.
What?
I have Haze.
Sorry.
Haze.
Yours probably is SH. SH, so it's single hop. So
okay. All right.
Yeah, so we're getting
me confused.
A sneak peek at Bryans cookie beer.
Organizational skills.
So Keepers of Craft,
yeah.
Our homebrew club, 2 months ago started a cookie beer competition where we all had to brew beer using at least one package of commercially available cookies. And Brian did a lemon cream cookie sour ale.
Yeah. Yep.
Wait a second. What was the top supposed to say?
SH.
Okay, good. Because you said lemon cream, and I looked down, and I got LC on the top of one of these.
I was supposed to grab SH.
SH.
Oh, I grabbed PA.
No. So Brandon's is labeled PA.
I don't.
Don't worry, Brandon. You're right. Brian's an idiot.
Okay.
But anyway, we get to try Brian's cookie beer.
Yeah.
What's the base style?
Good. This is a smash beer, right?
It's smash-ish. Called a smash beer. It's all Cider with 1 pound of white wheat, and then all the hops are HBC 630. So Brandon's tried this before out at a club get together behind Houston Farms. I brought a little bit of this, but yeah, the hop is HBC 630. Let me pull up the description because it doesn't actually have a name yet.
Okay, so the LC is actually your cookie beer.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I thought this was. I took a sip of it. I was like, I don't taste any.
I was
cookies.
trying to talk it up. It's a cookie sour.
We spent so much time on
tastes
it. I
like
thought that's what I was
lemon.
drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
So-
trying to talk it up that it's a cookie sour that we should save till the end because it's good, but it's cookie sour.
So HBC 630 is a complex and fruity hop with sweet fruits and berries like raspberry and cherry, along with sweet candy-like esters and lactones, giving creamy notes of peach and banana.
I don't know if I've ever heard the term
descriptor.
lactones. What is that?
Oh, I've heard it
I
before.
know. Yeah.
According to Google, they are cyclic carboxylic esters.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Let me just
obviously.
reach back like 12 years into chemistry and pull that knowledge back out.
Or it's
Sounds like-
a
Wasn't that
heavy
going to be
diet.
like your major for a while?
It is. I kind of. It's my chemistry is my minor, so like I should know
Oh,
this.
okay.
I could probably if I had a whiteboard behind me, I could probably do like a fucking half-assed attempt at what the chemical structure looks like. But
All right.
So not complex, just a
So I-
single
I-
hop pale ale.
You called out the berry characteristics. I'm not getting it. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what you guys think. The keg's almost empty because I've just been sipping on it for so long. But
I get maybe it's just me, but I get pine on the nose.
when I first kegged this beer, about every other pour, I would get marijuana. on the
Yeah, well,
nose.
yeah, I could see that. I could see that little dank
So, yeah.
resinous.
Speaking about berry characteristics, though, Brian, how is that triple berry mead doing?
So, yeah, not that we have any Michigan Homebrew Fest, people listening in right now, really, besides, excuse me, like a Mr. David or something like that. But we have a special surprise that, I guess our listeners get to find out about
It's not a
early.
surprise anymore, right?
So Jason, Drew Doster, and I are putting together 5 gallons
We're
of
drinking.
a what is it? A blueberry, blackberry, and raspberry
Yeah.
dessert mead. So I have it fermented at my house right now. I had to split it into 2 separate batches. It's 36 pounds of honey, 60 pounds of fruit. I think it used in total around like 60 gram. I'm sorry, like 30 grams of a 71B. Just tons and tons of yeast nutrients. The original gravity was somewhere around like 1170. I plan on it finishing somewhere close to like 1065, 1070. And we're going to have about hopefully 5 gallons of it. And the keg is going to be worth probably a little bit over $300 of raw
But
ingredients.
that was what I was going to say.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're drinking a beer at Whistle, and I said, wouldn't it be awesome if we could put together, a dessert mead for Homebrew Festival? And in my mind, I was thinking, like a gallon or 2, like a normal batch, 2.5 gallon batch, or and Brian instantly fucking rolled this up into a keg. And then, next thing you know, the next morning I'm buying a cart full of fruit at Costco, and we're dropping over $300 on a keg. So I don't care if you know the secret or not, man. It's definitely going to be a specialty tapping at Homebrew Festival.
It will be.
If
How big is-
those numbers come in right, you're going to be pegging around what, 13%,
14%.
14%.
How big of a fermenter are you using for that? Just to when I hear all those
2
pounds.
7-gallon buckets.
Okay.
2 7-gallon buckets. So yeah, yep. I have thankfully I have a nice stand-up freezer, and so it can't fit both the buckets like side by side. It's just a little bit too small for that. And I can't stack them on top of one another because the buckets need the spot for the airlock. and balancing it just a little bit off to the side of the airlock on the bucket felt a little risky. So
Because you don't want to
I
just
stuck
dump
one bucket
150
in.
gallons worth of meat on the floor.
Yeah.
Right.
I stuck one bucket in. I stuck another bucket in upside down, which was a little bit shorter. I put some disc golf discs on top of it to make it the same height as the other bucket.
This is
And then
homebrewing.
I stacked the other. And then I stacked the other bucket, spaced out between those two. And then I stuck my temp control probe on one of them and assumed that they'll be roughly the same temperature because it's all.
Well, it's going to get blended anyways. So if one's a little off,
exactly.
This is getting drunk with a couple of friends and wasting money. It's got to be the
It's
most.
not going to be a waste.
Thing.
It's absolutely not going to be a waste.
What
It's
honey
not gonna
did
be
you
a
guys
waste.
use?
A mix.
So this,
right?
this was this was this was orange blossom honey. Nothing special. In fact, I think it was Web Restaurant Store, like orange blossom honey. So,
but I mean,
so
you
nothing,
did supplement with
super
like
fancy,
tangerine blossom or something, right? I thought you had to.
So yeah, the whole thing required 36 ounces of honey.
Pounds.
36 pounds of honey. Yeah. And Jason donated 15 pounds and I had 15 pounds left over of this like bulk order that we did from a Web Restaurant Store. So I needed 6 more pounds. I had 4 pounds of
that's around 3 gallons.
Honey.
3 gallons of honey about ish.
Yeah. So 12 pounds of honey is 1 gallon. So it was about 2.5 gallons roughly. Yeah.
Okay.
Of just what was donated, and then about 3 pounds for the total recipe. Yeah. So yeah, I used 4 pounds of tangerine blossom that I had from Sean Harris in Hawaii. It's his birthday today, randomly. So
Happy
birthday, Sean.
Yeah,
Mr. Harris.
Yeah, go buy some of his honey. It's awesome. I got a lahua blossom, a coffee blossom, a tangerine blossom from him. They're all amazing. And then I still needed 2 more pounds, so I used 2 pounds of an orange blossom that I got from Flying Bee Ranch, I think, which is another good honey supplier.
Just to throw in, I've got some mango blossom mead fermenting from his honey right now. Mango blossom honey. Yeah.
That ginger mead actually that I gave you, Brandon, is made with that tangerine blossom.
Okay.
So, yeah. But yeah, so 36 pounds total and 60 pounds of fruit, 30 pounds on each fermenter. Stepped up the yeast or prepped the yeast up with, Go Firm to begin with. Got that all prepped, tossed it into each fermenter. Did a kind of a standard like staggered nutrient addition for each of the meads. The berries provide so much natural nitrogen that you don't need as much nutrient as you would with like a standard like traditional mead. So I roughly cut it in half. I think I targeted like 175 yen for each bucket. So then I used Firm K and DAP for the additions for each one of those buckets, and used Lalazyme EX and OptiRed for some additional enzymes for each of those two for color stabilization and some other goodies. I think one of those has like pectic enzyme included in it as well. As long as I've used those, I've never had any issues with clarity in my big berry meads, so I'm assuming it has some of that in there. So yeah, I'm excited to see what it turns out like. Hopefully it's not $300 worth of shit. So
I'm sure it'll be good.
We can hope for the best, I guess. But we're going to have it on tap probably. We might even push it like on CO2, and it might even get just a little bit of like the slightest bit of like carbonation in it, which if it's not acidic enough, and I don't know if I'm going to mess with it too much, but if it's not acidic enough, that might actually kind of add just a little bit of to it, which could be cool. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We still have time to play with it, but tell us about your mango blossom. Brandon?
Ooh.
Like, what did that even taste like? I haven't got to taste any of his Mango Blossom honey.
I mean, I'll admit I don't have the best palate to clarify. It was good. I tried a little bit as I was making it. I didn't use a ton. I still have most of it left because this was
Okay.
So this was supposed to be like more of a hydromel, so like a lower ABV, highly carbonated.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
since I didn't know the exact amount of sugar, because what I did was I went to Costco and they have Langer's like mango, what are they? Mango juice, anyways. So I bought like 4 gallons of mango juice, and then I had
Oh shit.
and then I got I had the mango blossom honey, and then I also have my mango puree that I use like in my mango New England. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna add just a little bit of that as well. So I put like one of those cans in, which are those are only like 30 ounces, but it's pure mango puree with it has some sugar in it too. So I didn't know exactly what was gonna come out. I was aiming for like 6 to 8%, I assumed, but it ended up being more like 9 to 10%. Once I had everything in there, and so I only added I think like 4 pounds of honey into it, really. So it's not like it'll be interesting. Like, and I decided because I had a New England in my temperature control, and I really only have room for one thing in there. I was like, well, how am I going to ferment this? I could just use some wine yeast and be smart. But I was like, you know what? I have a couple packets of Voss Vike Lallemand out in my fridge. I'm like, I'll just throw that in there. I'm fine with some like pithy or like a citrusy character in it as well. That works fine with mango as far as I'm concerned. So I put my little heat wrap on it and just fermented it at 90. It's probably I haven't taken a hydrometer reading, but looking at the airlock activity, it's probably done. It's been a little over a week, and I was kind of actually. I think you might watch them. Do you watch Doing the Most podcast at all?
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, kind of just watched him. So I just like watched some of his stuff, and I just put like since I was planning on being a lower ABV, I just planned on putting 10 grams of Fermento in it and just kind of doing just one dose of it. I didn't want to do standard nutrients. So
yeah.
Plus I had the mango puree, which supposedly mango is like one of those fruits that has a good amount of nutrients in it on its own. So I put a little bit in that. I figured that should be plenty of nutrients. And it definitely didn't smell. It smelled like mango the entire way. I don't know about that, but anyway, but it was definitely. I mean, it tastes great right now. I just tried some yesterday, and it was it's definitely dry. So that's why I say I'm pretty sure it's done fermenting. I just no rush. It's been a week. It's Mead. I expected to take much longer than that, but it's Kvike, and it was at 90 degrees for a solid week.
That's neat that you used Vike for Mead. I think that's.
That's an interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've used it for a mixed berry mead before too. So like I've used. Really? I like it for that. You got to make sure to nutrient it up because it's a hog like that, but it's also good at not, barring a few of the specific strains, it's pretty good about not producing terrible off flavors. So I kind of like it for.
I would worry that it would come out like hot, like.
It could.
But that's cool. Yeah. That's real cool. Yeah. But speaking of mango, how's your ArcLight brew going?
You know what I was thinking? Like, I was like, man, maybe I since you're my middleman mostly with
one moment
communicating with that. He said around mid June it should be on tap. So hopefully maybe in like a week or so it'll be on tap. But it's been.
I hope he watches this because I gave him your number like 5 fucking times.
Oh, he has my email too. I've responded to him an email.
But so a little backstory. Why you brewing it?
Yeah, go talk it up.
Oh, so it must have been during COVID. They had a Brews to Me, which Brews to Me and ArcLight, had like or rather, I should say, Brews to Me had a competition, and whether it was known or not to ArcLight or not, the winner got to brew there.
Which is a homebrew shop up in Watervliet.
Yes. So it might have taken a little while, but I did finally get to brew, like a couple weeks, 2 weeks back. I don't know. My brain.
So about 2.5 weeks ago, I got a text. So I'm friends with the brewer, the head brewer at ArcLight. And I got a text from him that says, "Hey, that guy we're brewing his beer like in 2 days or some shit, you know. It was just ridiculous short notice. And then they were like, oh, and by the way, we need a different yeast because they had to substitute, right? They couldn't get
Wallomans Verdant IPA.
Right. So I'm like, you know, texting Brandon. I'm like, hey, you know, I'm your friendly ArcLight middleman. You know, and so we got the yeast figured out. London Ale 3.
Yep.
Good substitute.
Yep.
And then, oh, by the way, they're brewing your beer, you know, in like 2 days.
Yep.
If you want to show up.
Right.
And then I love it. Like you guys, you do show up, which I appreciate you doing that. That's awesome. I was really glad that you got the opportunity. I had told Ed that I really wanted to come and just sit there and fucking make fun of you and give you shit. But then I couldn't. I was buying my new truck. It just happened to be that my truck came in that day and I had to go up to Grand Rapids. And now they're both like texting me like, where the fuck are you? I'm like, it's not my brew day. It's fucking all about Brandon.
Shoot, I only texted you that day because I was like, is Jason showing up? I'm like, I don't know. But like, what was it? Oh man, I'm sorry if I say Lewis, I think was the assistant brewer, but like I beat him there by like an hour. So as I expected, I got to weigh out all the grain, which is like about 410 pounds. I got to dump it all in the mill, and then
it really is your beer.
Oh yeah. Then I got to also get all the grain out of the mash tun afterwards. That was fun.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I was busy that day.
So I did get to do like most of the labor parts, but there was like some new guy that showed up, which, oh man, I wish I could remember his name because he was a really nice guy, but it was a weird name. I'm not dogging on him or nothing, but he had a weird name. Anyways, he was a really nice guy, but thankfully he dumped the eight buckets of mango into the fermenter.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
But anyway,
Well,
it's fun.
I've reached out. I'll find out. But yeah, we'll let everybody know when Brandon's beer is going to go on tap to ArcLight. We'll do a road trip down there. Anybody in Southwest Michigan that can scoot over there. You know, Ed brews good beer. Brandon brews good beer. I think the two of them together, it should be pretty cool.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, me too. It'll be interesting because I will say I was really surprised because Ed was really open to my input on things, and I was like, man, I don't know if you want my input on your system because like this is new to me. Like how I do things. Like I was surprised because one of the things that we talked about was adding the mango because I added it right to the fermenter. Like I added it technically to the as I was doing flame out, and I've brewed that beer like twice now, just twice. So like the first batch that won actually was like I put it in the kettle during Whirlpool, and then I also tried it a second time adding it right to the fermenter, and it was better to my surprise when I added it to the Whirlpool, which I would not expect for like adding a puree to be better that way. But it turned out better.
I'll give him credit. He's always learning. He's always willing to try new shit. I remember I actually told him, and if he ever watches this, he can bitch at me. I don't give a shit. But I remember hanging out with him and telling him that I knew this guy that brewed really good hazies, and you know, was just had a really good process for temperatures to hit and when to whirlpool and when to add hops, and he made really tasty hazies. And then Ed starts, and I love it that Brian just dropped. Because then Ed starts texting me like, hey, what does that guy do? And I start texting Brian. That's just hilarious that he's not here right now to hear this. So I started texting Brian to be like, how do you do your hazies? And I'm texting Ed. I was middleman back to there. And so I got to say this before he comes back, but probably most of ArcLight's hazies are based off of Brian's, kind of tested processes.
kind of wonder, like, did Brian's internet go out? Because I noticed he's like not even in
He's
our panel.
gone. Yeah,
he's like gone. Like,
He turned so bright red that his internet connection was like.
he knew the story that I was going to tell, and he's out. It's fucking.
I wonder if he just clicked the X on his browser rather than removing himself from the thing. I guess we'll find out if he comes back.
Well, speaking of hazies, I mean, I'm almost done with this.
I'm just about. So this is the actual. This is what Brian. God damn it! Keeping the trend going. Brandon is drinking right now. Right? Is the PA?
Pale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Brian's not here to correct me, so that's what we're going with.
The next one, you guys should have. You guys should have a cap that says Haze.
Yep, I got one of those.
So
okay.
That'll be the next one that crack into. It is Brian Stevenson's Hazy IPA.
Do you call him Brian Stevenson?
I did.
Full name.
It's because I've had just enough to drink to not.
I am gonna crack this, but I'm not gonna close my browser, but I will be back in a second.
Yeah, let me grab mine too, so it's here. Oh, I'll hang out since it's just you and me, Jason.
No,
let's do that.
I'll sit here and talk. Fuck it, me and David. David Stevenson. Fuck him. I just read an email. There's the guy I work with whose last name is Stevenson, and I read that and said that. And anyway, fucking hell is right. Apollo looks adorable in that picture. I'm by myself for the first time on the show. I got nothing. What is it? Let's see. Michigan Homebrew Festival is coming up soon. If you're a home brewer, keep your eyes out for July, first week of July. Michigan Homebrew or Michigan Beer Cup, is going to open up its registration. Well, now you're back. If you haven't entered already, I don't know if you can still enter Michigan State Fair, but you should. You should have already been in that.
It's closed.
It's closed. All right, so fuck, State Fair's gone. Michigan Beer Cup is going to go very quickly. So if you're thinking about entering Michigan Beer Cup, when it pops open, which it should be the first week of July, I expect it to close within hours. So if you are thinking about it, jump on it right away. And there, now I'm not by myself anymore.
You are not.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
No.
Whew.
I was gonna say my video is probably lagging just a little bit while all my stuff kind of opens back up, but I've returned. Yay. Sorry about that. Yay, technology.
No, it's all good.
What were you guys talking about? Competitions?
I talked about this asshole that I kind of stole the tech behind a hazy IPA for Ed. And then everybody. Oh, and then we switched to your hazy IPA, so that's what we're drinking now.
Brian's back.
Yeah, but you pissed me off. You're fucking up. Hold on. There.
This is how we were.
That's how we were.
Yeah, Brian, did you close your browser?
No, my computer just totally locked up.
Oh.
I built it back in. What is it, 2020? Maybe 2012.
1902.
Yeah. So all these parts are old. They're
when are you
great.
going to build a new one?
When everything dies. I have, I can, as long as I can fit a new video card in this thing, I'm happy with it. I have 32 gigs of DDR3 RAM, but it works just fine, and it's rocking. It's rocking.
And it's not like you might, couldn't get a good enough job to afford a new computer.
Right, Jason, come on.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, we switched to your hazy IPA. Tell us about that.
All right, so this is it's not so much my normal style of hazy. It doesn't have any oats in it, so it's just base malt, some wheat, and a little bit of a Crystal 40, which I don't normally use either. I kind of wanted to change it up and just give it a shot. And I think this is the first New England actually I've ever used crystal malt in.
I was gonna say there was a period of time where you were like against crystals and caramels. Like
crystal, yeah, caramel, most, yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
we don't
This
really
truly is a swim NEPA. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that okay. It's more like crisp, clean hazy instead of like deep, rich, hoppy hazy. I used a mix of Imperial's Barbarian and Juice for the yeast on this, just because I had a random vial of it.
Did you put it with Columbus?
I did. I absolutely did. I bittered with Columbus, which I don't normally do for these beers, and then the like flavoring and aroma hops are Eclipse and Brew One. So
Me and Columbus have a problem.
Let's dig into that.
But
because Brian asked the question, why were you against caramel malts?
So,
before you answer, let me put my 2 cents in. Brian, he was against caramel malts because he's just fucking weird. All right.
I mean,
so I'm not against caramel malts, especially for like Midwest IPAs, like Two Hearted and stuff like that. 100% belong there. My original thing was I started making New England IPAs back before Old Nation was in Michigan. I was the first homebrewer in our club to make a New England IPA. I'm almost positive, and it was really just becoming a thing in Michigan at the time. And at the time, I really wasn't digging the sweetness that they were adding to my beers, but I was also brewing differently back then too. I wasn't using RO water. I wasn't temp controlling quite as much. And so a lot of that sweetness was probably a mixture of things, a mixture of ingredients, a mixture of my brewing practices. So now, like I'm using honey malt quite a bit in like my New England IPAs and like some other random beers. I have a coffee blonde going right now that I use a little bit of honey malt in. And as far as like crystal and caramel malts and stuff like that, I feel like, in the 4 ounce to 6 ounce range in a 5-gallon batch, they can 100% add just the right amount of sweetness and really for New England's get that like orange color popping. So I've very much sort of like flipped my opinion on that to a point. I don't think that I don't know how much 100% C20 millet beer would do for me, but I absolutely want to try it because I am not gonna judge that until I try it, because I'm past that part of my life. I will try everything. Oh, yeah. And usually like at least like pretty much everything, unless there's something significantly wrong with it, like process wise, with the exception of smoked beers sometimes. And Jason is probably with me there a little bit too. I like smoked beers more than Jason does, but not as much as some other people do.
There's no place in the world for smoked beers at all.
I would disagree. A little bit is nice in some of them.
But, yeah. I would just say for Brian about the crystal, like if you were to go on like our homebrew on anytime someone mentions like even a West Coast or like pale ale and adding crystal, you're gonna get like half the people like going off on you. Don't use crystal, use Munich. That's good enough. But like admittedly, like I still like crystal. I've always loved me some Sierra Nevada pale ale and like things like that. So like it has its place. Yeah.
I think we're gonna get back there again too. Go ahead, Jordan.
Oh no, I was just gonna say when I brought it up because I feel like that was one of the tips that actually made my IPAs better, was taking crystals or caramels out of my malt profile. Now you said you've been using honey malt. That's something that even from my early days I've been using pretty consistently in almost all of my beers, just because I really like the flavor profile that it adds. Because it adds a little bit of that sweetness, but it's brighter than that deeper, caramely flavors that you're going to get from crystals or caramels. You know, but yeah, I think with IPA specifically, like I'm probably not going to go back to adding that stuff in unless I'm doing something that's very specifically like a a deep amber West Coast style IPA. Anything that I want to be bright and fruity, I'm just leaving that stuff out. I'm letting the hops do the work.
Yep. No, I'm generally with you for the most part. Yeah.
I'll agree it's not
this was
necessary, but it's a preference thing, and I'll bite my tongue not to shit on people that say like there's no place for it though.
There's no place for it. If you want smoke,
oh no, we're talking about Crystal here.
No.
I went with it.
This is the shit that's going to be confusing when we start doing like podcasts. When we start converting this stuff,
start referencing our tags.
Yeah. People are popping shit up on the screen.
That's just gonna make people tune in. That's just come watch us get drunk live.
But no, the only reason that this has the orange color that it does, right now is because of the 8 ounces of C40, I think. So I'm a fan. I'm a proponent of a little bit just for the color adjustments, and I don't think that for high ABV New England IPAs that amount of crystal or caramel malt makes a noticeable impact. Something like a C80, or higher, maybe would C60, C80, I think. But
why did you go
C40.
with? I was going to say, why did you go C40 rather than C20?
Because I think that the color contribution is enough where I can add a little bit of it and not have the flavor contribution be so much there. Because again, I really in New England, I'm still there, Brandon, where I don't 100% like that caramel malt in my New England 100%.
I think I maybe used like a tiny bit, like a couple ounces. Okay. That's not something I would use in a New England traditionally. Anyways, but
okay. Yeah.
No, I think I think if you cross over the 40 mark, just on here, I'm always listening. I just had to go off camera for a second. I think if you cross over that 40 mark, you start getting into the flavor characteristics like raisins and
dark fruits
and dark fruit.
Yeah.
40 is where you draw that line, or anything over 40 is where that Mead effect really kicks in, and you start getting those different flavor characteristics.
I usually use like 60 or 120 in my stouts, so get some of those burns.
I was mostly shitting on the homebrew subreddit folks and like West Coast and just pale ales, not New England style, but you can just post about like a Sierra Nevada pale ale clone and people will shit on you for that, even though it's like literally in the fucking recipe. Like, that's part of it.
But David says anything over 20 you get flavor, and I agree, you do get flavor, but you're getting with 40, you're getting caramel, you're getting some sweetness, you're getting some malty hints characteristics. But you go into 60, you're getting stone fruit, you're getting raisins, you're getting plums, you're a dark fruit, whatever. Like there's a big step, I think, between 20 and 60.
Sure.
And I'm sort of like in the opinion that like in these styles of beers where you're using anywhere from between like 12 ounces to 16 ounces in a 5-gallon batch, some of those like nuanced flavors that you're going to get from like 4 to 6 to 8 ounces of like a caramel malt are just gonna kind of get overwritten maybe a little bit. Like when people like taste a New England IPA with like a pound of hops in it, and they say something like, oh yeah, I can sort of pick up on the the tangerine esters of this beer. Like, it's total bullshit in my opinion, because like there's no way you're gonna pick up on like any fucking like yeast esters when there's a pound of hops in the fucking beer. Like like there's just, I don't know, there's just nothing.
Yeah,
there's no way to do it.
Overpowering the flavor profile.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which again is a pro in many ways too for I don't want to say new brewers because these beers are very oxygen prone, but like they cover up off flavors too. So not only do they cover up like the nuanced like pro flavors, but they cover up like maybe shitty, slightly off flavors and stuff like that too. Like that's why you have pro brewers like dry hopping the shit out of like some pale ale they fucked up and calling it like an IPA instead or something like that. Because not only do like IPAs market better, I think I read an article in some beer magazine like a couple years ago, IPAs sell 3 times better than a pale ale, something like that. Bullshit, Brian statistics, but it's a marketing thing. Like nobody wants to buy a pale ale, but if you call it an IPA, fuck yeah, absolutely.
90% of Brian's statistics are 80% made up.
On the spot.
Brian, next time you feel like making a New England, I would like to observe your brew day if that's acceptable.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah,
So, like,
I want to make one sometime in the next couple of weeks here, so I'll hit you up. We'll have a fucking like brew party over here in the driveway or something. So
cool. But because I've got one in my fermentation chamber, I've literally kept it in my all rounder and just am serving it from there, and it's like I'm not happy with the hop character in it. Like I feel like I can do okay if I add fruit to like a New England or like something like that, but I'm not happy with my just plain old New England ales at the moment. So I want some of the pro tips, the pro homebrewer tips. It looks like Brian froze up.
Oh, he did. Look at that. Oh,
Heather is really mean mugging me. I'm not sure which.
No, I'm pretty sure that's just it's
So we've got one more beer to get through tonight, and the show's already gone too goddamn long as it is. Just to try to recap, I think what we have on tap or on deck for the show is Michigan Brews. We're going to be talking to the Michigan Mead Coalition on the 14th. We're going to be talking to the Michigan Homebrew Festival on the 21st. We're going to take a week off on the 28th. And we're going to come back in July sometime. We'll be coming back in early July, but sometime in July we'll be talking to Brian from the Gluten Free Brew Supply Store.
You've seen him in chat.
He's been very active in chat. Appreciate him hanging out with us tonight. Probably going to be fitting in another homebrew club too, since it's getting that time of year with Homebrew Fest. And I'm thinking about another, depending on how the awards ceremony goes, we may do something like competition 2.0. I'm just literally pulling shit out of my ass right now because Brian's gone at the moment and I can.
Hey, I'm looking forward to the gluten-free brew supply episode just because even though I have no need to not have gluten in my beers, that's one of those things that like I haven't done yet, and I've watched some people's YouTube videos on it and like all the different enzymes that some of them use and like the crazy ass amount different mash temperatures you have to use and like cereal mash temperatures.
I'm just
sounds like a pain in the ass, but I want to learn how to do it and make at least a couple of them. I want to make a decent non or gluten free beer at some point. So that does sound
fun. I'm not interested in it either for so much for the dietary thing, which is important to some people, and I get that. But for me, I'm when I got into brewing, I got into like kind of that recipe creation and kind of coming up with these different. I for years I've been able to say that I've never brewed a recipe that I didn't write. And there's been a couple that because I've collabed with people on, so I can't really say that anymore. But I'm working on a recipe presentation for the club, and it's all about the flavor characteristics and the profiles that you get. And it just super interests me to find out, what you're getting with these alternate grains, alternate processes, using millet, using sorghum, quinoa. I've had great examples of style. Again, to me, it's just another flavor, spot on my palate wheel that I get to play with. So I'm excited about it for that. I'm really glad that Brian reached out to us. But since Stevens is down for the count again,
You gotta pay him more, man. He's got to get better internet.
He must be stuck with that same.
No, here he is. Here he is.
Oh!
There he is.
I gotta do this. Hold on one second.
Upset. I'm so upset. Oh my God, we're rearranging.
Oh, hi.
Oh,
All
there
right.
we are.
There we go.
I'm feeling very OCD.
So-
sometimes.
So it may be time to rebuild my computer sooner than I want to, or something. I don't know what's going on tonight, but I apologize.
No, as David
No.
said, good luck getting a new video card that doesn't cost you 4 times its expected price.
I have
That's
a
the
few.
sad thing.
I have a few
Somebody-
Discords you can follow if you want.
Not even that. Like somebody may work for a company that can get a hell of a fucking deal on a video card.
I got my 3080. Didn't I got it. That was fine. I got my 3080 and what the R9 or whatever Ryzen processor.
My 3090 should be coming out in the next couple of weeks.
I had to one up.
I'm still rolling with my 1080 Ti for life.
Dude, I just have a normal 1080. Man.
But literally, I can get him a $4,000 video card for $1,000 right now, and
because I totally need, $1,000 is exactly what I want to spend on a video card that I used to play games exactly like once every,
Dude, that's basically what I spent on my 3080. Like, it's fancy too. It's got like a little 3-inch LCD screen on the side, tells me my frame rates and all that stuff.
That is fancy.
I can add little emojis to it. Yeah,
none of that matters.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mute and tell Shannon to take out her headphones real quick here, and we'll continue the conversation.
I wish we could. It would be fun to be able to kick off. To kick people off the audio stream, just so we could free ourselves of wives and girlfriends. And David, a PS5 costs $500 if you can fucking find one.
Yeah, if you can find one, that's. But back onto the gluten free thing. Like you guys are saying, you're excited. Like celiac runs in my family. I don't know if I have it or not. I'm kind of experimenting with. Greatly reducing my gluten intake because I know my sister has sensitivity, my grandmother does. So I don't know if it's something that runs in the men or in the the female side, but definitely something I'm interested in learning a lot more about because there very well could be a little bit of a familial impact in terms of what I brew and who in my family can enjoy the brews or even myself. Thanks, David. I think I brought us off topic with the graphics cards, and
I got a thing for that.
Well, yeah, there it is. Yeah.
So the beauty of tonight is we had no main topic. This was just literally us.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
This is the topic.
This was us bullshitting, hanging out. We have lined up guests coming up in the future. Whatever. I poured this cookie beer. What are you guys all at? Catch up.
Got it. I've been drinking New England's. I've been fucking with
I was gonna say I could
just
drink
because
out of
you're
the bottle.
just because your video card frees up, Brian, doesn't mean that your beer frees up.
Are New England's meant to be chugged? This isn't a huge glass, but
so this one I think is just not sweet enough where it's completely chuggable. This reminds me more of an East Coast, Treehouse sort of IPA a little bit, where it's just a little cleaner, just a little more dry. I actually dig it quite a bit without the oats, honestly.
Where do you put this on your hierarchy of New Englands that you've brewed? It's just probably second tier, fifth tier. Where are you putting it?
I call it a 7.5 maybe out of 10. I enjoy the drinkability factor of this one. Some of the New Englands I make are so sweet and so hop forward that you only want one a night and then you don't want to think about it again. And I think this is one of those beers that you could sit down at a bar and be like, that was good. Like, I'm just going to get that beer again. And I think that's my goal, for every beer that I make, I want that to be like the beer that I'm like, I could do another one of those, for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely.
To break in while you guys chug this shit. So one of the things, if you guys watch the show from the beginning tonight, you notice that our intro is shit. And we have a couple of friends, Sam and Travis Ross from Ripjaw Media, that are going to come and work with us to film a cool ass intro in the future. And
Hi, Brian.
I'm going to share this real quick. So they did a video for State of Mind's Thunder Rolls, where our friends filmed this video, and it just hit number 1 on the Billboard Top 100, right, Jordan? Is that what that is?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to do a shout out to Sam and Travis Ross. They filmed the video for this. Fucking check it out on YouTube. Ripjaw Media. They're going to come in a few weeks and do a cool ass intro for us. A few weeks or a few months, whenever we can hook up with them.
Whenever we can nail them down, they're getting popular.
Right. They're getting popular because they're doing fucking number 1 hits and shit. So good on you, Sam and Travis. Fucking, that's awesome to see that shit pop up. So shout out to Sam and Travis Ross. Again, Ripjaw Media. Go check their shit out. State of Mind, Thunder Rolls is the video. It's pretty awesome. So now that we're on, Brian's gone. Fuck you.
Again, he's. Maybe I'll sell him the leftover kit that I have that I can't use for my current PC.
Yeah, so the next beer, if you guys are cracking into it, says lemon cookie beer. It is I think a Berliner Weiss kettle sour style beer.
Is this Looper with cookies?
So hold on, I'm gonna open the cookie beer. This is why I just shut off the camera and I didn't leave, because now Jason has to do the whole fucking thing again. That's why I just shut off my camera.
Lots of me, Brandon, Jason. All right, there we go.
So let me open this beer. This beer, let me pull up the recipe. I will share this recipe with the world. That's one of the things interesting. So you talk to the mead community a lot, especially the professional mead community, and they're very secretive with recipes and how they design their meads and stuff like that. And you talk with the professional beer community, and it's far more open. I'm not sure what the deal is there. Like a big mead, is quite a bit more new, and people are still like establishing, their recipes and stuff like that. But people are far more secretive about their mead recipes than they are in the homebrewing community. So this lemon cookie sour, you'd probably be surprised at the original what would you guess the original gravity was on this thing?
I mean, given the style, 1.040.
That's
okay.
That. I'm assuming that is FG. Brian was asking for OG.
Yes, OG. No, I'm saying OG. It's probably
OG,
somewhere around there.
so you're calling it for a 3.5 to 4%.
4. Okay, yeah, never mind. I went 004.
Like a
Dyslexia. Fun.
little beer.
A little beer.
Any other guesses?
I think it's like a 6.5, 7% beer. So I would put it at 7.1, 7.5.
Okay. Jordan?
Yeah, I'm like the pH kind of throws it.
I taste sweet. It's tart, but not like, it's just a little tart. It's really not super sour. This is really drinkable. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go maybe right around like 7 ABV.
So the ABV is right around 7.
Oh damn!
It's actually 6.7. The original gravity was 1082,
Wow.
and the final
Wow.
gravity was 1032.
Oh Jesus.
Yep.
Okay.
So I mashed at 160 degrees.
That's
Um,
high.
10 pounds of Pilsner, 5 pounds of white wheat, a pound of lactose, and half a pound of East Kent Goldings. This was a kettle sour, so I kettle soured it down to about 3.2 pH.
What'd you do?
Yeah.
Walk me through your kettle sour process. What'd you do? Like what was your culture? What was your temps? How long?
Yeah. So I mashed with those ingredients. So it was the 10 pounds of Pilsner, the 5 pounds of white wheat malt. I did not add the lactose at this point. Excuse me. I drew all of that. I think it was about 6.5 gallons of wort into my kettle. I added a half a carton of Good Belly mango to my pot. I like the mango. If I can find the mango, I use the mango because it doesn't taste like mango. It doesn't taste like anything. I think it's very
like
neutral.
taste neutral, right?
Yeah. And I let that. I covered the top with cling wrap or whatever the hell it's called. Not like the good, saran wrap stuff. And I pitched it at 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I did not keep heat on it. Lactobacillus plantarum will act fine at room temperature, so I just kind of let it go. And that's what Good Belly has in it, is the plantarum. So I took a reading at like 18 hours, and I took a reading at like 20 hours, and right around the 20-hour mark, it was like 3.4 pH, and I was like, fine, I'm just going to go for it. So I took it, and I boiled it for an hour with the East Kent Goldings, again, half ounce at 60. And then I pitched just USO5 in it. And it only fermented down, from 1080 to 1032, which is fine. I have been using Ferndale's sours as sort of like a springboard for a lot of my more fruited sours and stuff like that recently. And I think that a slightly higher gravity really plays well with not only like the tartness, but like anything else that you add into it. Just that extra sweetness really adds to the drinkability and stuff. So you wouldn't guess that it would be 1032. It's like it is kind of sweet, but the tartness really,
No, but I think that
balances that out a little bit.
Adds to the mouthfeel, right? It gives you more body.
Yeah.
So you get that cookie. I'm still feeling that wheat base or whatever from that cream cookie.
Oh.
I have to go back. So sorry, Jordan, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like there's a certain mouthfeel to it that you were alluding to, Jason.
It's that wafer cookie. And I can taste the wafer cookie, and I'm really not trying to talk Brian up because I really want to kick his ass in this competition. With my windmill brown. But going back to it, 2-3 years ago, Keepers did a cereal beer competition, and a lot of clubs out there, a lot of brewers out there have done cereal beers, and they call them, like, they all went to shit, or they were all turned out nasty, and and I got to be lucky in that case and prove that wasn't the case, right? Like I took my cereal beer that I brewed 3 years ago, and I sent it to nationals, and it won it's won multiple ribbons, it's won gold medals, and I brew a Berliner Weiss with a box of fucking Fruit Loops, and I'm killing it with it. But then Brian comes along.
I have to interrupt you. No, I have to interrupt you. You can't continue the story until I say this. You got feedback from NHC that said that your Berliner Weiss brewed with a box of Fruit Loops was a what was the quote?
World class?
No, it's a
100%,
perfect
like,
example
it was-
of style.
Perfect example of the style.
But
So,
in
go
my
ahead.
area, Berliner Weiss goes into the final judging with fruit lambics, and where I have no chance at all. I get
Yeah.
my ass fucking
Yeah.
soundly handed to me. But then anyway, so Brian comes in a couple years later with a motherfucking cookie beer, and everybody was like, cookies, this beer is gonna suck, this is gonna be stupid. But no, this is a fantastic fucking cookie beer, and it's really goddamn annoying.
I should say, so as far as like the cookies and the lemon and stuff like that go, I zested 5 lemons and I added that into the fermenter about a week before I kegged it with a whole box full of the cookies. So that's how I used the cookies in this beer, is I added all of the cookies to secondary.
What cookies
and I just
did you
let
use
them
again?
So they were from Aldi. There were these lemon cookies. They're like Oreos, except they are white cracker or white cookie with like a lemon filling.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
that's
I think
it.
I've had those before.
So yeah, I blended those up in our food processor and put those in a muslin bag and threw that in the fermenter with all the lemon zest, and all of that's in there for like a week. And I think the cookie or whatever like comes through a little bit. I don't know.
I mean, I just got to say, fuck you. To steal from Jason, like, man, this is just like,
I'm with you.
Like it's so good. Like I don't want to taint anybody that might be at the next meeting and like try this beer, but like, yeah, like it's got like it's tart enough to where it's like, it's a sour, but like it's so totally approachable. Like I could crush this and get totally fucked up without realizing it, and it's just so good.
We're totally as soon as we get there, I'm gonna be there to set up, and as soon as Brian puts his beer on, I'm knocking it all over.
I'm gonna search this taste out, and I'm gonna give it the lowest. I'm gonna ignore this beer just on principle, but no. But just
to show that
so
it really
good.
is to talk about if you know your brewing principles, if you know how to brew beer, and that's what we do with this with the club. Throwing cereal, doing the football style draft rounds, of just kind of forcing people to use ingredients that they're not comfortable with, and then doing cookies. It just shows that if you have your basics down, if you understand how flavors fit together, and how a beer recipe is built, you can really overcome a lot of fucking hurdles.
Yeah. No. I to interrupt you, like, I'm not a huge sour beer drinker. Like, I like an occasional sour, and I occasionally try to make one, but man, this is just like, even as a non-sour beer drinker, like somebody who doesn't search them out all that often, like I could drink this all the time. It's that
Thanks,
good.
man.
It's
so basically,
really
Brandon, Jordan, I think we've blown enough smoke up Brian's ass tonight. That is quite huge. Anything else going on in the world for you guys? Brandon, what do you got going on? You got your ArcLight beer coming soon.
Soonish. Hopefully, maybe Ed will respond to you within a week or two, and then
he told me soon. That's all I got from him.
But like, so hopefully that's good, because he allowed me too much input that maybe that'll be good or bad. I don't know. So yeah, that'll be great. But yeah, I'm just gonna go back to. I haven't brewed in, like, other than going to ArcLight, I haven't brewed at home in a while. I'm like, I've been looking forward to brewing because I recently got some plumbing work done in my basement that actually makes it so that my ventilation system will work better. Nice. Unexpectedly, like, I wasn't planning on that, but like, I got some stuff moved around in my basement to where my ghetto setup before is slightly better, and it wasn't even planned. It just happened to work out that way. But anyways, so yeah, I've been looking forward to brewing, but I'm like, damn, all my kegs are full. I've got like a couple things in the fermenter that I still have to put in kegs. I've got a pear, and it's like about 60-40, I think, of like pear and apple cider from Husted that I got from last year. that's sitting in a cardboard that I need to keg up.
Oh,
But did clear for some.
Inner glint cap with that shit, man. Throw
Yeah,
it in.
I've been thinking about it.
Yeah.
My only concern is that like it's hazy as shit. So like,
Doesn't matter.
yeah, I'll still probably do it.
Get
Not
your feedback.
Not to knock on glint cap at all, because I think they're amazing. It's great that we have a cider and perry competition, but they are not. They do not award them medals. Fuck, Brian, I'm fucking this up.
Usually appearances usually
It's not like it's like Siciliano's. It's based on score.
It's not based on. There isn't a first, second, third. It is purely based on score. Anybody that scores over X amount, 34, 35, you're gonna get a medal. You're gonna get positive feedback.
What's the cost for entry?
$21.50 for a commercial, a non-commercial. Sorry, if you're a commercial brewer, I think it's 100 something.
Okay, because I got that Perry still too on tap that you guys had a while back.
Yeah, throw it in there. I told Brian I wasn't doing it, and then I fucking went and paid for an entry for my Perry from last year too.
I'll toss one. If you guys think that cider is decent, I'll toss that in, and then
it was
100%, dude. We'll drive it up. I would. I don't know. I really think it's really good. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it was very tasty.
I mean, I haven't done shit with it. That's it's just yeast, nutrients, and fucking pressed juice.
Yeah, but you did yeast, nutrients, and juice better than other people.
Right,
so.
most. So we've got Michigan Mead Coalition next week.
Yep,
we
Michigan
do.
Homebrew Festival the week after.
We do.
A wetland break the week after that, and then we'll get into July, and we're looking for, we'll have Brian from Gluten Free Brew Supply at some point in July, hopefully, and we'll have, maybe a couple of breweries and some homebrew related.
I've been talking with Rex from Ferndale Project. I actually sent him an email because I love their solo series IPAs so much.
Mm-hmm.
I sent them an email asking if they could give me any insight as to how they brew their IPAs, and Rex, their head brewer, has emailed me a couple times now answering any question basically that I've sent him about how they brew these beers, and I don't know. I would. It's just he's a great person. It's a great brewery. They just have a great vibe. They're great people. I'm supporting Ferndale so much right now. So I'm going to. I don't want to be like that guy that's oh yeah, thanks for answering my beer questions. By the way, do you want to be on my show? I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy that's the only reason I'm asking.
That just sounds like an opening.
Because I want you to be on my show.
Anybody who's watched the show knows you're not asking those questions just to get them on here.
Exactly.
Just because you're a curious person.
But I don't want to sound that way.
On that same theme, you are that guy. God damn it, go get us some shows. All right. What else, Jordan? You got anything going on?
Trying to find time to brew more.
Good.
Next time you brew, man, let me know. I'd love to come over at least.
At this point, it's looking like fucking August.
Well, then we'll do August then.
Yeah, that's
right before Homebrew Fest. Did you get your tickets in for Homebrew Fest?
Not yet, but I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with that month. I want to be there. I'm going to be there at least for a day. Cool. Whether or not we're going to camp or something like that, we're still trying to figure that out.
Brian and I are going for the whole fucking week. So, and David too. So, can't fucking wait. All right. It's almost been 2 hours. This cookie beer is amazing. Brian, you got anything else?
No, I don't think so. Brandon, I'll let you know when I'm brewing in New England next, and cool. We'll have out. And David says, should we plan a brew day? And I think we should. So
we should. All right. Well, fuck it. Thanks, everybody. Thanks
for hanging out
with us.
All right. Woo. Happy Monday.
We'll be back next week with Michigan Mead Coalition. Cheers.
A day closer to
And,
Friday is tomorrow. Yeah.
Cool.
Woo! Cooper.
Oh, rip Cooper.